Hello, everyone. Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, where nihilism and great music often go hand in hand. Well, it's another Chicago Record Hall. I've moved from Chicago. I am in West Michigan now and in Holland, Michigan, but I went back to Chicago because I was going to go see Viagra Boys. They play at the Salt Shed. And while I was there, of course, I had to do some record shopping. And I brought back some really good ones. Some of these are records that I had heard for the first time when we reviewed these records on the Gunkles. So I'm going to be referring you to the Gunkles for more details about some of these records, because after all, we did already review them. And one of them is this first one here. This is Bauhaus. And I'll pull it out here. Burning from the Inside. So this was a reissue. Let's see. This is was originally released in 1983, but this is a 2022 remaster. And I've never listened to Bauhaus, if you can believe that. There's the back cover there, and got the inserts with some the lyrics all sketched down on there. Yeah, I never listened to them until Robert Fithen had recommended that we listen to this for a review on the Gunkles. So you can get all the details about our reaction to this record by watching that episode. It's been published. But I will say this. I really liked this record, and I really like it. I say in past tense, I really liked it. At the time, I listened to it for a review on the Gunkles, and I liked it so much that I went out and got a copy of it. So I'm thankful that it's been reissued, because coming from 1983, it's not an easy one to find. And, I never even heard that famous Bela Lugosi song by Bauhaus. I heard their name, I knew of them, but I just completely missed hearing them. So really, really glad. All the songs are really, really good. And even the last song, Hope, it's interesting because Bauhaus is this reputation of being this almost macabre goth band. And certainly the music in some respects, many respects, is a bit dark on this album, but Hope is really quite a very optimistic and positive closer for it. Even the little short instrumental piece on here called Wasp is it's not a throwaway. It's just a really interesting, integral part of the whole listening experience. So yeah, all the songs. Anthony Nartode, Who Killed Mr. Moonlight, which is a reference to Mr. Moonlight on the Beatles album, Beatles for Sale. Apparently, one of the members of Bauhaus was thinking about John Lennon, and so that's the song's not about John Lennon, but thinking about John Lennon inspired the song, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, Slice of Life. The title track is really good, but it is one that it reached a point with me where, okay, the song can end, but still, really, really strong album. And I'm very interested in learning more about them. So from Burning from the Inside, Bauhaus. Next one is another one that we reviewed on the Gunkles. And that's this one, Underwater Moonlight by the Soft Boys. Now, the Soft Boys is Robin Hitchcock. This was a band that Robin Hitchcock had put together. We reviewed this, and this is another one that I just really, really liked. I knew about Robin Hitchcock, and I have one of his releases, which I really, really like. I've always had this respect for Robin Hitchcock because he had a respect for Syd Barrett and Syd Barrett's songwriting. But at the time, when I was first hearing Robin Hitchcock, and Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians is what I was probably initially turned on to via 120 Minutes. You know, it was good, but at that time, it wasn't where my head was. But this one, with the Soft Boys, this is also a 45th anniversary deluxe issue. So it was originally released in 1980, and this is a 2025 remastering on this really nice blue vinyl. And it sounds excellent. I think the original perhaps was mono, and this is stereo. But maybe that might have been the Bauhaus. I can't remember. But this is great songs on here. I Want to Destroy You, Positive Vibrations. A really interesting song that I wasn't quite sure how to take was Old Pervert, about this guy living under a bridge. But all of these, really good songs. So to get, again, the full experience of our review, you should check out the episode of The Gunkles, during which we review this record, Underwater Moonlight by the Soft Boys. Okay, coming up next is Devo. And this is the Rhino High Fidelity reissue of Freedom of Choice. And part of the reason I got this record was I had watched the Netflix documentary about Devo, which is fabulous. It is an incredible, wonderful, well put together documentary about Devo, and not just their history, but also what they were trying to accomplish, which even among Devo fans kind of was missed. The point was missed. And I was probably one of those who was kind of missing the point early on. I mean, I remember the song Whip It when it came out. And but it wasn't until New Traditionalist. That's my favorite Devo album. I mean, I like that record. But this remastering on the Rhino High Fidelity label is outstanding. What an amazing recording. What an amazing pressing. And after watching the documentary, I have a much better appreciation of what Devo was attempting to do with their music. And I enjoy this music so much more than I did, back then. I was kind of dismissive of Devo. I really didn't take them all that seriously at the time. I mean, like I said, I knew about them. I knew the song Whip It. But then even Girl You Want, I kind of remember that one. But like I said, it was New Traditionalists that really got me into them. And now rediscovering their music years later has been wonderful, wonderful experience. So if you haven't watched that documentary on Netflix, do yourself a favor and watch it. It is really excellent. Okay, so another record that I bought while I was there in Chicago. And when it comes to jazz pianists, Oscar Peterson, to me, is the king, the star. And I saw that they had this release here. This is the Oscar Peterson Trio Night Train, and this is an acoustic sound series repressing of this on the Verve label. So we're talking about this record first coming out in 1963, and then the Acoustic Sound Series reissued it with their mastering in 2023. And it's such a great record. I mean, if you are familiar with Oscar Peterson and you've listened to Oscar Peterson before, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the guy's style of playing is so amazing and playful and heartfelt and whimsical, you know, all at the same time. His interpretations of songs like Georgia on My Mind or Bag's Groove, Easy Does It, the Jimmy Young song. You know, it just, I love it. I can't get enough Oscar Peterson. So, yeah, this is such a great copy as well. So if you're an Oscar Peterson fan or you're only slightly familiar, I do recommend this release, Night Train. I'm trying to remember where it was recorded. It might have been recorded in Chicago, but it's not part of the Chicago series. No, it was recorded in Los Angeles in 1962. Okay. But yeah, what an amazing record. Really enjoy it. So, Oscar Peterson Trio with Night Train. All right, so next record is one that we also reviewed at the Gunkles. This episode has not been posted at the time that I am making this and posting this one. So I'm not going to spoil too much on this, but this is Panic at the Disco and Death of a Bachelor. And I had listened to one of their recordings before online because I really didn't know anything about it. And I liked what I had heard. This is on this red vinyl. So this is also, it's the Hot Topic limited edition red vinyl. Sounds really good. There's, in some parts, there's a little bit of compression of some of the instruments, but by and large, to me, it's got some good breathing space in the sound, and I really enjoy it. And I will say that amongst the other Gunkles, I had the highest praise for this record compared to their reactions to listening to it. You should check out our episode on that one. But yeah, I did not know. Okay, Robert mentions in that episode that this was a double platinum album. And I did not know that. Did not know that until he said it. But I guess Panic at the Disco is perhaps one of those bands that there aren't a lot of middle road people. You either like them or you don't. I just liked this because of the fact that it is so over the top. I like the fact that there is nothing original musically about any of the tracks, because I think that was intentional, that he was using, what's his name, Brendan Urie. He was using all these musical tropes of popular music intentionally, and then instead of providing what you would expect in terms of lyrical content to go with these songs, he is coming out with these lyrics and these stories of, in many cases, really awful people, you know, and I don't know, I just love that contrast. So, yeah, Death of a Bachelor. I like it. Now, this next one is one of my favorite bands that I've pretty much, you know, they're a band that anytime I see anything by them, I'm going to be grabbing it and buying it if it's in good condition. And this was also, I found this at a new store, Torn Light Records in Chicago, store I had not visited before. And it is, this is an EP, a 33 RPM EP by Coil called A Prison of Measured Time. And this is, all right, there's 2 tracks, you know, one for each side. And it's got some just really interesting textures going on in here. Like side A, okay, side A is Heaven's Blade Dark Night Mix. And I did write down some notes about this that I need to retrieve here. Yeah, so it's got this mechanical melodiousness that's placed in kind of what I wrote down, a ritualistic and pagan atmosphere. It's a song of metamorphosis. Now, I wish I would do a needle drop, you know, for something like this, but until I get some issues worked out with this copyright strike, which wasn't even about a needle drop that my channel received. It's a strike based on the fact that I held up a record album and it was a copyright strike. I don't understand, and I'm still trying to get to the bottom of it. But because of that, I'm just really hesitant about doing any needle drops. But yeah, so that's the side A track. The side B track is Whir Click Whir, a deeply disturbing passing. And this has got these electronic beats and waves with kind of an industrial sound to them. But then there's these sonorous jazz horns that come in the background. They're not overwhelming. They don't overpower anything else. And there's this muted trumpet that is played that just has a very Miles Davis feel from, I'm going to say, well, it's kind of a combination of Miles Davis in the late 50s, but also a Miles Davis style of Bitches Brew. So it's just really, really interesting. And then I also wrote down Gustav Mahler feel. Why this? Meaning, why did I think of Gustav Mahler? I don't quite figure that out, because Gustav Mahler is not necessarily, at least the recordings I have, they're not very melodic to me. They're not necessarily very listenable. But that's what it made me think of. And I'm not saying this because I don't think this is unlistenable. This is eminently listenable. This is fantastic. And then there's a part in the song where everything seems to disintegrate a little bit and break up into these different like fragments. But then it all coalesces and comes back together. And that, the note I wrote down was William Burroughs. Okay. Again, that's what I was thinking of. That was my reaction to this music. So there's this part of this music that my reaction was, Gustav Mahler? But why? And then this other part of the music, particularly the disintegration and coming back together again, you know, my reaction was William S. Burroughs. So that's A Prison of Measured Time by Coil, which was a 2020 release. It's not something from their back catalog, I don't believe. It might be, and then not released until 2020, but anyway. So the final one is a release from this year, newest release from a band that I have found fascinating. And it's this British band, The Horrors, and the album is Nightlife. And yeah, it's this is a clear vinyl release. It comes with this really nice booklet with the lyrics, you know, handwritten lyrics. And you can see, yeah, everything's dark, everything's black. And this is a dark album in a lot of respects. It's a couple of the songs really stood out to me. There's More Than Life. And what I really like about that song is it gets some really great reverb guitar going. But there's this line from the song Lotus Eater. Time is now slipping away faster than yesterday. It's oh God, just that line to me encapsulates such a brilliant outlook. And then there's another line in the song. If the world should end today, there's been too much time worrying about yesterday. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Lotus Eater, which apparently is a reference from, I think, from Homer. The Lotus Eaters were basically people who just kind of withdrew from the worries and pressures of life and would just eat lotus flowers. Just like, hey man, live life. The album also has this kind of dark sound to it, although I'm not going to say that it's macabre in any way. But it's some of the songs, I think they're all kind of tied together in this idea of the you know, it's called Nightlife, and so there's this concept of darkness and contemplation that goes on in the middle of the night at times. But you know, Ariel is a really interesting song. Silent Sister is, you know, another one, The Silence That Remains. So there's a lot of introspective material going on here, but at the same time, it's I'm still kind of struggling for words to describe, but it is a record that appeals to the notions not just of, you know, we need to enjoy life because it is so fleeting, but also recognizing that while we accept life on its own terms, it's at our own peril that we try to lasso a moment and try and hold on to it for longer than it exists, I think is probably the best way to explain it. I tell you, The Horrors, I really like The Horrors, and their releases, this is the third release of theirs I have, and Skying is the other one, and then I have their debut, and they're all, each one is so different. And, you know, each record is different, each sound is different. And even though with this particular release, with Nightlife, there is a kind of a musical theme that is held throughout the entire record, it still has some variety to it that keeps it interesting. So, yeah, the 2025 release. If you haven't checked out The Horrors, there's another band called The Horrors, but they're from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So, not that band. This is the band from Britain, from England. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and leave a comment in the down under, please. I enjoy getting them. Do a thumbs up, please, to like the video, even if you're already subscribed, because it does help promote anyone's content in the algorithm to get YouTube, to get it in front of more eyeballs. I appreciate you all who subscribe. Thank you so much. I'm above 2,000 subscribers now. That's been really, really excellent. Thank you. I am indebted to you. You can also find me on Instagram as NewsDude76, that's NEWZDUDE76, where I post a variety of content, including, posts about records and music, but a lot of other things as well. And then I have a Facebook page called Kelvin Wazoo, where I not only post the videos I make here on YouTube, but other video content related to music and articles as well to that page. So you can follow me on that Facebook page. Okay. So again, thank you so much for all your support and your kindness. Please leave a comment in the down under. I like hearing from you all. And remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.